Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard here, your peerless YouTube NFL prognosticator. Well, anyway, I'm going to give you my predictions for Week 1 of the 2014-15 NFL regular season. First game will be on Thursday night, Seattle at home against the Green Bay Packers. In this game, we'll have Green Bay with their scintillating offense, and Aaron Rodgers will most likely be back for a full season. I expect them to make the postseason this year and will most likely win their division. Seattle's at home, 15-1 the last 16 regular season games there. Everything but invincible there. They'll have a raucous crowd. It'll be deafening. I think I'm going to take Seattle in a tight game in this one. Now, next game, Atlanta at home versus the New Orleans Saints. On this particular game, I expect it to be very competitive and close, being a divisional matchup. The Saints, however, have Super Bowl aspirations, and the Saints could very well come out of the NFC this season. I think it's going to be the 49ers, actually, but I think the Saints really have a team that just built to go for a sustained period and go deep into the postseason. Atlanta, they struggled last season. They're attempting to bounce back. Can they come back? They'll be better, but I don't know if they're really going to be at that divisional title level. But I'm going to go with the Saints in this one. I think they'll go in there, they'll march in and pull out a victory over Atlanta. Now, next game, St. Louis at home versus the Minnesota Vikings. I want to take St. Louis in this one. They are at home. They're a team that very likely may improve this season. They very well may get that last wild card in the NFC, or be very close to getting it, I think. Now, St. Louis, they arguably have one of the top 10 defenses in the NFL. I think they made a mistake by getting rid of Michael Sam. He was having a phenomenal preseason, in my opinion. I don't know if it was a distraction thing or what the reason was. Who knows? Anyway, Minnesota's going to go in there. They got to go on the road. They have Adrian Peterson for running back. Do they really have much else to combat St. Louis? I really don't think so. I'm going to take the Rams at home. Now, the next game, Pittsburgh Steelers at home versus the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. They're a very proud franchise. I know they might be battling age and attrition to some degree. They won their last 3 regular season games last year. They came very close to getting that final playoff spot. Cleveland Browns lost their last 7. They're entering a new era with Johnny Manziel, who I believe will at some point be the starting quarterback. If he isn't in Week 1, he probably will get it at some point during the regular season after Week 1. But Pittsburgh, they're at home, and the Browns, unfortunately, I think are still the Browns to some degree. And Pittsburgh, I see them pulling this out and opening their Week 1 victory. So anyway, next game, Philadelphia Eagles at home versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, the Eagles have very explosive, high-octane offense. They could very well be a top 5 offense this year. I think they might be a little bit overrated. However, they are at home. Nick Foles, their quarterback, probably won't have the stellar season he had last season, but they'll be good enough to beat Jacksonville, I believe. Jacksonville Jaguars, it seems like every season in recent years they're under 500. They're 5-19 on the road in the last 24 regular season games over the last 3 seasons. I don't expect them to go in and win this game. I'll take the Eagles at home. Now, the next game, the New York Jets are at home against the Oakland Raiders. Now, the New York Jets, they've added some pieces on offense. They added Decker as far as receiver goes. They have added Chris Johnson. They managed to miraculously go 8-8 last season with basically a team that I didn't think really had the personnel to do so. And the Oakland Raiders are a team that is trying to find themselves, I believe, their identity, but I don't think they could find a win in this game. I believe the Jets win this one. I'll take the Jets at home. Next game, Baltimore Ravens at home versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Baltimore, even though their defense is not as quote-unquote ravenous as it has been in years past, they're still a team that will fight for a playoff position. Cincinnati got thumped last season in their opening playoff game. They have yet to win like a playoff game, I believe, in like at least 20 years or so. And Baltimore, I don't believe, has missed the postseason in consecutive seasons for some time now. And I think Baltimore is going to win the division this year in the AFC North. And I think they'll start out on the right track, defeat Cincinnati in this one. Next game, I'm going to take the Chicago Bears at home against the Buffalo Bills. Yes, I know Buffalo's feeling kind of revitalized there. There was one of their players were talking one day on TV and saying that we don't want to be like the 6-10 or 5-11 team that we're accustomed to being. Well, the thing is, Chicago is there. They are at home. They acquired Jared Allen. Jake Cutler could be primed for a breakout season. Their quarterback, I could see him throwing for at least maybe 3,800 yards and have one of his better seasons ever. And this is a team basically that has revamped their defense, and I think we might see some improvement with the Bears this season. And I think Buffalo's going to have a hard time going into that environment and defeating Chicago. I'll take Chicago at home. Next game, I'll take the Houston Texans over the Washington Redskins. Both teams really were abysmal last season, to say the least. Houston lost their last 14 games, but I think being a new season, the team will be rejuvenated. They're going to have some new hope with this team. There's too much talent on this team to go 2-14 again, I believe. I mean, defensive end J.J. Watt will play very well, I expect, this season. Their defense will probably be a little bit better. At home against the Redskins, I'm going to go with Houston in this one at home. I just believe that they're going to be the better team, at least on this day. Now, next game, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at home versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, Kansas City wants to go out and show that last year was not an aberration, that they have potential to make the postseason again. Andy Reid is year 2 of this team. Some thought it was going to be a big reclamation project. The Chiefs just seem to turn everything around magically in one season. They are at home. Tennessee lost running back Chris Johnson last season. They're hoping that Jay Locker will stay healthy for the entire season and carry the load. It's going to be a tough task to go in there and win this game. I think Tennessee, even though some people might think they're improved from last season, they're not good enough to go into KC and win that game. I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs at home. They will emerge victorious. Now, next game, I'm going to take the New England Patriots over Miami Dolphins. New England is on the road, Miami at home. I expect it to be a competitive game. It is a divisional game. Miami, over the years, has been somewhat competitive against New England. This game could be decided by maybe a touchdown. New England added a lot more talent to a team that went to the AFC title game last season. New England added plethora of talent and weapons, and they added Darrelle Revis, cornerback, arguably one of the best shutdown corners in the NFL, to a defense which was not necessarily terrible, but will be dramatically improved this year, I believe. I'm going to take New England on the road in this one. Next game, Tampa Bay is at home against the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to take Carolina on the road in this one. They want to prove that last season was not an aberration, and that they can go out and at least compete for the division title again this year. Quarterback Cam Newton has shown a lot of progress and maturation over the years. He has evolved. I see him as being a very complete quarterback who could do virtually anything. Very mobile. I think he might even be a Hall of Famer. I think, and Tampa Bay is trying to kind of regroup and be a team that at least is competitive. They are at home. They'll make this a tight game. It is a divisional game, but Carolina, I think I'm going to pick them to go in and beat Tampa Bay. Next game, I'm going to take the 49ers on the road versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys are a perennial mediocre team. Since like 97 or so, around that time, they've been like 500 exactly in the regular season. And this is a team that looks like world beaters one day, and then the next game they look like anybody can beat them. Tony Romo in the offense, Tony Romo proves he can put up amass a lot of yards, and the offense is very capable. But will did Dallas do enough in the off season to improve the defense enough where it's going to be competitive and possibly win the division title? Dallas may compete for the division title. It might only take 9 or 10 wins to win that NFC East. But I think San Francisco, with their Super Bowl aspirations, arguably the best team in the NFL on paper right now. 49ers go in and beat them. Next game, I'm going to take Denver at home over the Indianapolis Colts. This will be I could see this as a shootout between two vaunted offenses, quarterbacks. You have Peyton Manning going against his old team, the Indianapolis Colts. I could see both quarterbacks throwing for a minimum 350 yards, a total of maybe at least 50 points in this game. But Denver is going to be out with a vengeance after getting throttled last year in the Super Bowl 43-8. I see them going in opening game at home. Indy can very well compete for the top spot in the AFC this season, but on this game, Denver, I believe, will prevail. Now, next game, I'm going to take the New York Giants on the road over the Detroit Lions. Now, the Giants started out 0-6 last season. They wound up going 7-3 in their final 10. Eli Manning had a deplorable year. He threw for like 29 interceptions, and I believe had the most interceptions of any quarterback in the NFL. And I don't expect this to duplicate. Tom Coughlin is a great coach. I expect the G-Men to win this game. I also have them winning the division this season. The last time a division leader, a team has won the division in consecutive seasons in the NFC East was 2003, 2004, and it will be somebody different this year. The Eagles, a lot of people already have them winning the division, and hands down, I don't think so. Detroit, it's going to be interesting. Are we going to see the team like a few seasons ago or so that made the playoffs, went 10-6, or are we going to see the team last year that struggled at the end? It might be somewhere in the middle. I see Detroit being kind of a mediocre team, but I think the Giants are out to prove they're one of the better teams in the league, and they will go in, I believe, and beat the Detroit Lions. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals at home over the San Diego Chargers. Arizona went 10-6 and missed the postseason last season. If they were in any other division, they could very well have more of a chance to compete for the division title. I think Arizona is going to get a wild card berth this year, to be honest with you, and they are at home. San Diego quarterback Philip Rivers seemed to play better last season. They had a new, I think they had somebody new on offense that may that helped him out on as far as I guess as a coach, or they had some new scheme or something, and maybe he adapted well to it. And San Diego did make the postseason on the remember that their final game by the skin of their teeth, and they did defeat Cincinnati in that first round. But I think they got to go on the road. They got to go into Arizona, and Arizona is primed for a playoff push, and they're looking at a chance where they feel have the confidence to win a division title. I don't think they will, but I believe I like what Arizona is doing with their team. They're really evolving, and I expect them to possibly even be better this season than they were last. They just got to make sure they give quarterback Carson Palmer enough protection, and they should win this game. I'm taking Arizona at home. Well, people, that will conclude this NFL prediction segment for Week 1 of the 2014-15 regular season. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving my picks for Week 2 of the 2014-15 NFL season. Until next time, people, stay well.